Whew. Summertime, the heat, the garden, everything is going. Yes. Starting late for a reason. Been busy. It's called summertime. Things are happening. Research is going. Chats are open. We're live on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Twitch. Yes, we're on Twitch. So people ask for Twitch. Good old Twitch. The Twitchster. Today's episode. You murdered your parents. The collective had you. The group made you do it. Some would say, it's the cult. It's the identity. It's the fusion of the foster family. Well, perhaps it's all of it in one. Every bit of it. So it's a pretty interesting topic. Did a little bit of research on it. Kind of open requests, so to say. The white paper has actually been released. It's out. It is out. Bam. It is out, ready for you to download and review and read and give all your scholarly ideas and your own research. Please use the references down on the reference page. Good stuff. More of a psychological, sociological, and criminal justice white paper. But it's pretty good. Released today via this guy here. And it's all good. See, everything's running good to go. If you're watching, reading, give a thumbs up or a 5 and a 5. Other than that, we're going to kick on with it because everything looks like it's shaking and Ricky Bobby baking. Now, number one, what you got to really understand about something that would be a sociological group, or I know the title's kind of odd and weird. I murdered my parents. The group on my mind. It's kind of a join or unjoined kind of deal. The identity fusion, when the group becomes the blood, so to say, the group becomes the manifesto of instruction via whoever's in charge, whoever is the main team leader, the main focus of the group. Society has that, negative approach to it. They have that negative ideological thought process. What society doesn't understand is the psychological state where a person's sense of self merges with a group so completely that the group's goals seem like personal survival. It's been embedded, the fusion, the perception of the new family tie. Not to be, compared with a gang or the mafia or the yakuza or the triad or a criminal element. We're talking about something that is way deeper than that, the fusion. Unlike regular group membership, the chess club, the mafia, the yakuza, the street gangs, the organized crime, what one would laymanly call and educatedly say the cult, or the group that has a one unified goal, the collective is the wield. Personal identities still survive, but the collective synergy, the ideology, the edict, the rhetoric of the group, whatever it is, good, bad, ugly, moral, ought not, moral, ought to, that becomes a force stronger than any one singular identity. Think of Star Trek, right? The collective, absorbed, one entity, multiple parties, multiple people, but one for the mission of one. Let's see, we're getting good audio, good video. Should be a pretty good thing here. So let's kick on with it. Now, research found that fused individuals on a psychological level, right, reclassify the group as family. I know you've heard it before. The gang, the skydiving family, the church family, the chess club family, the baking family, but those are endeavors of one, so to say, in society, acceptable measure. The morally ought to. The clique, the hobby, the chess club, the cooking club, the fishing club, the skydiving club, whatever it may be. The identity of singular is still there, but there's still a way in and out. There's still that individual non-fusion tie. The individuals are not fused. They're not reclassified to the group's ideology, the group's rhetoric, the group's manifesto, so to say. I know, manifesto, big scary word. A lot of people, argue the manifesto with serial killers, active shooters, and those of extreme violence. Well, think of the bond of the group and the persuasion. Think again of the betrayal to the group. Feels like self-betrayal to the one who's relinquished everything to the group. The loyalty, the family tie, the family structure. Researchers also found that reclassifying oneself in a group toward the group is the bond, the soul, the reason for living, the collective. It's triggered the same as maternal protective instincts, one that has immersed themselves so deep into the methodology, the practices, the fundamentals, the ideology of the group. Normalcy is reversed. Now blood tie, family, father, mother, paternal, uncle, all the blood tie is it's irrelevant. It's not as strong as the group itself. Research also shows that it's not classical brainwashing. No, it's not Hollywood brainwashing to where, you built the monster out of kidnapping them and teaching them to become killer morphed soldiers in their head with strobe lights and all kinds of sorcery, magical gizmo. No, it's not like that. There's no magic or gizmo into this. It's voluntary. It's a real feeling that the one has. It's realistic. It's one's onset of what makes an extreme sacrifice of themselves for the greater good. Yeah, so they're going to give away everything. The blood ties, they're gone. It's the group, the mentality. It's the way it works, people. Research also shows that fused individuals describe their bond with the group that they're in as a unique family language. Now, I know everybody throws around that brotherhood, sisterhood word like it's candy. It's not automatically like that. You hear, if you go to explain brotherhood or sisterhood, then you don't know what it is. Well, obviously, you don't know what it is when it's the infusion with the group. When it's not brainwashing, it's this real volunteer. Yeah, you can get into these groups, the brotherhood, sisterhood of cake making. Yeah, you can leave at any time. Yeah, you're not so embedded in the Betty Crocker's mindset that you won't deviate from the principle of the formula of the recipe, would you? You would. But within groups that show individual collective identity, 120, that's still a singular collective identity. It's not a brotherhood and that's not a sisterhood. It's consciously done. It's automatic. And it's also unconsciously and subconsciously done because the tie and the bond and the melt is so deep. Biological family ties of loyalty just truly do not exist anymore. The bodily feeling of oneness, it's stronger. Yes, it's stronger now. Self-purpose, self-worth. Meaning, I'm part of the collective. It's not like you being part of the chess club. Well, they don't need 18 members to compete next month. They can go with 17, 12, 10. They don't need you. They've got all kind of other chess geniuses. The cooking club doesn't need you either. They need the people who are going to bring the material for the secret recipes. They just don't need you as the singular body. That is not the way it works in a group toward the foundation of the people that are in it are fused together. Brotherhood, sisterhood doesn't count there. Yeah. Family blood, the bond doesn't count. The disagree with the doctrine, that doesn't count either because there is no disagreement. It's a still. It's not a fragmentation. It's a still. It's embedded. It's like ice and snow. It's like the tint on your windshield. You don't want an open window to where the sun comes in and blinds you every day. You want something to infuse the window with you so that you can operate and see in all your glory. See the road while you're working on your cell phone and driving like a dum-dum. Yeah, you, the individual you. Well, the doctrine of embedment means one does not do or perform practices that are not beneficial to the group. You playing on your cell phone with your tinted window is not beneficial to the other drivers on the highway, the collective, the group, the hive, the symbiotic circle of life. Well, within the group that one infuses themselves in so deep that they would kill or murder blood, it's a doctrine, it's a foundation. It's an intellectual agreement with the group, the ideas. Everybody in the group, too, the intellectual agreement. The individual you has chosen to agree with the individual they or them in the group. Yep, once fused, the brain treats threats to the group the same way a mother would treat a threat to her child. Yes, here comes the mountain lion down from the mountain, hungry, ravenous. There's a little Bucky on the Swing set, sweating, smelling like greasy bacon, and playing with a hot dog. Well, the mountain lion doesn't want the hot dog. The mountain lion wants little Bucky and the hot dog for dessert. Well, mom's coming. It's violence. It's death, risk, fear. The threat to the group. Yeah, the one that's infused. That's the way it works. The the activity of fight or flight, so to say, the response before conscious thought. The response. Research and studies also provide that perception, statistically, the more fused a person was in a group. Yes, I said was or is. Research is past tense, right? So they're researching or communicating with people that were immersed in groups, because the majority of groups aren't going to have volunteers to speak to researchers. All right, it's going to be post or past. Person was more likely to call the group their own, themselves, identify. We. I and we. They're not going to separate the group by name and then commit themselves to an action of an individual I. I am part of the brotherhood. We, the brotherhood, I will do something. You're separating yourself, so there's really no collective bond. There's no fuse. It's linguistic scan. Call an FBI person that does linguistic scan or interview. Better yet, call a really good experienced investigator. They will find and show you the links or the dissociative actions in linguistic preview when somebody is being interviewed and, I don't know, possibly considered being part of a group, terrorist cell. Yep, hate group, extremist group. I know, everybody's got their own version of an extremist group or hate group. The identity synergy. Yeah, the synergy. Why 1 + 1 equals an explosive incident? Yeah, 1 + 1. 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, equals explosion. Identity synergy means the combination of personal identity and group identity. All right. It produces more motivation. It produces more motivational activity, but it produces more activity that could be generated by the activity itself. Meaning, replication, infusion. Set the example. It's kind of like you. You're a member of the chess club. You watched Bob come in, and Bob 4 months ago sucked. He couldn't play chess or checkers with a bag of rocks. 5 months later, Bob is the chess king. Motivational. It's explosive. The 1 plus Bob is 2. Now it's synergetic. You've got to make yourself better. The group identity. Now you want to compete for the group with Bob and represent the group. The action of you, 2 + 2, you and Bob, is synergetic motivation. The group sees it. Now it's explosive. Energy. Motivation. The thrill. The seek. The success story of the symbiotic circle, the convergence, the ones that have unified together. It's hard to pull somebody out of something like that. Those of you in society, or those of you that have, watched the show in the past or are watching now, you've felt that moment of low self-worth, low self-esteem. Nobody wants you. Oh, let me go eat some worms, read a kindergartner book. Yeah. Doesn't happen like that when someone's infused into the group. You can't explain just regular group membership with groups that are so strong in the symbiotic connection, so strong in the motivation, the linguistic preview. You can't explain regular group rules. There are foundation rules everyone knows. They do not have to be mentioned or said. It's kind of like religion, right? Get wrong. I can go out and drink all night on Saturday night. Be an ass. Go to church and 18,000 Hail Marys and I'm forgiven. Doesn't work like that in a group that is a foundation, statistically synergetic tying group that absorbs an individual, and the individual is not just part of the group, but the individual represents the group foundation as a whole on its own. 1 + 1 is explosive. 20 + 20. That's a baby nuke, right? Can't fight that. The individual proactivity in the group. It's non-invertive. It's the new way. The group builds itself off of the new way. Anybody ever watch The Mandalorian? This is the way? Yeah. Even Disney picked up on it with the baby green Jedi. Pretty cool, huh? The synergy explains why fused members do not need orders to commit violence. They don't need to give someone an order. It's synergetic. Is it a threat to the group? The response, like the mother and the mountain lion with little Bucky and a hot dog. Don't need to tell mom. Mom's going to do it. The members of the group are going to do it. Think about the intervention. That blood family tries to intervene to take little Judy out of the group. Well, the group sees a threat to the group. Now it's time to eliminate the threat. And little Judy will be there with them to eliminate the threat because blood no longer has meaning. Synergy, synergetic, built. Yes. Even little Judy's part of the group. Doesn't even recognize blood anymore. Yep. Little Judy's mom saved her from cat scratch fever. Doesn't count anymore because the group's mission is survival. It's a personal mission for everyone, but the personal mission is survival of the group, the infusion, the identity. Family ties is the violent trigger. Yep. Intervention, family ties. A mediator in the psychological mechanism, all right, which is research, explains that one thing causes another, period. The foundation, the reaction, the chain event. Those that are found in the group and those that are found to be perceived to have the family tie still, they do not work in mediating the link and the fusion of the group. They are seen to mediate the dislink of the fusion of the group and help create the fusion for violence for the group's survival. Now, some would say, man, this is really extreme. Well, think about it. Layman terms. Cult. Anybody remember Waco? The older people? Not a shot fired. One of those good alphabet soup screw-ups that the alphabet soup wants to forget. I've talked to a lot of older agents that are retired that would like to forget that moment. ATF, FBI, yeah. Fusion does not directly cause violence, people. Someone's fused into the group. The fusion isn't the violence. Instead, it causes the group to feel so tightly bound together that the family tie is virtually non-existent. There's nothing stronger than the group's tie. Family ties aren't even as strong anymore. That feeling will cause a willingness to commit violence, even to sometimes, statistically, criminology, criminalistic research, studies, case studies, it will create the willingness to kill and die for the group, even suicide, even willingness to put oneself in harm's way, or it's a suicide mission. But the survival of the group is the foundation of the action, the activity. The fusion, yeah. What is the fusion that we're looking for? When the biological blood member tries to pull a fused individual away, there it is. Think of something as simple as little Bob and little Judy have a relationship and mom and dad don't want little Judy to date little Bob anymore. It's a nuclear button. It's chaos. It's the worst thing. It's a catastrophe. Call the United States Department of Individual Defense of Relationships. Yeah. It's that extreme, but multiply it times 1,000 in the group. The group's got to survive. You're taking away from the group collective, the fusion. You're taking away a part of us. And the family now becomes the object of retaliation. Yeah, the kill, the die. Preserve the group. Are you going to give away an arm or a leg for free? Well, the group's not going to do it either. Might as well be kidnapping to them because you're trying to steal and infuse part of the group away. That's why you statistically in research, if you cover or have experience in investigations, you're going to find out that it is exactly that. When you talk to the group members, they were losing a part of themselves. Studies also show that experimentally, right, groups, when I say experimentally, it means testing the waters. But the group's going to test the waters too to find out the strength of the fusion. The fused participants often endure pain and risk injury, even risk death to protect the fused members of the group, to protect the group as a whole, mirroring the proactive instincts of what would be blood, but it's more extreme. Thus, the intervention of family of the blood, it's not going to work anymore. It's a threat. This means the group does not just replace family, It hijacks the same neural and emotional wiring that makes the family word have meaning. The parents die for their children. Well, the child that left the family and the parents to go to the group and infuse in the group now has a higher calling, something higher than mom and pops. Yeah, the group, the infused, whatever it may be. Religion, activity, ideology, government, whatever, right wing, left wing, Democrat, Republican, God, who knows? People could come up with a billion possibly reasons to infuse with a group. How strong is the reason for you? How strong is the reason for those that give up everything to infuse themselves into the group and are willing to commit violence, even kill family members to maintain the sanctity and tranquility of the group? Think about all the law enforcement investigations in specific groups. The violence. Yeah. Especially with federal agencies. Federal agencies have more historical venue than local, state, or municipal agencies with that. Yes, I said it. The feds, ATF, U.S. Marshals, DEA, FBI. Yep. Whole bunch of documentation on that. If you want to know it, shoot me an email. Dr. Mike Gurley at gmail.com. Actually, it's Dr. Mike Lee G at gmail.com. Yep, look at that right there in the ticker, right there. Send it. I'll give you a link to where you can go read all of it yourself. All kinds of case studies toward everything I've talked about so far has been tied with specific groups and individuals that were put under stress, and now it was a threat. Proactive extremism means taking violent initiative without being told. Yeah. Someone that is so dedicated to the group, so dedicated that there doesn't need to be an order. It's a given. Yeah. It's common sense. One shall violate the law. Extreme measures to protect the singular identity of the group. The 1 + 1, the 2 + 2, the 3 + 3, and on, that makes an explosive event of preservation. Don't have to be told what to do. It's the opposite. It's blind obedience, which means simply follow the unwritten order, the unwritten word, preservation of the group. It's a threat. Terminate the threat to the group. It doesn't work that way in organized crime, because somebody's always going to squeal. There's always going to be a snitch. It's always going to be somebody that's going to get that CI number for some dollar bills, for some green. But in extreme groups, it's not going to happen that way. Research also shows that strong emphasis, all right, on fused individuals are not passive robots waiting for commands. They're there already. They have their personal identity. They maintained it. They've proven themselves. They're vetted, bona fide, certified on both sides, and they're not just in the group, they are the group. They're a part of the triad of the group. They're a part of the DNA of the group. They're an active agent in the group, seeking opportunities to continuously prove loyalty to the group, commitment to the group. It's also a mentorship and a leadership. It's an observation. 1 + 1 sees. 2 + 2 repeat. 4 + 4 see. 8 + 8 repeat. It's a continual growth, a symbiotic circle of growth, even within, recruitment. See great things. How many times do gang members snitch on each other? Run. Anybody ever seen the videos where little Pookie and little Bob and little Stomachache and little Georgie George over there get into a blazing Hail Mary of gunfire in society into a crowd, and 2 run away and leave the other 2 just on their own? Yep, you're on your own, dude. I know, we're in a gang. Yep, you're on your own. Yep, that's the way it works. Get hurt, drop them off at the emergency room. Fast car, open the door, fling Bob out the door. Here you go. Hope you live. We'll see you. Come back to the group. We're loyal to you. Don't die. The emphasis on fused individuals. They're not passive robots. They think. They seek opportunity. Benefit the group. The distinction is critical for criminal justice, for law enforcement. Why? Number 1, volatile. Sometimes it can be expressively dangerous. Yeah. The perpetrator builds and bears full normalcy in the agenda, full normalcy and the action, full normalcy in the mens rea, the mitigating reason mentally, full normalcy in the action, the actus rea, the moment, the act, the physical, physical attributes of being there. Everything's normal because the perpetrator bears the group's normalcy for response to threat. Not merely a manipulative factor of the person that's in the group that bears the normalcy, but it's motivated by the fused sense of self. Remember, that person is in the group. They're part of the group. That person is the group. It's kind of like mentorship and leadership. Who's going to replace you? Well, who's going to replace you in the group? No one shall, because I am the group. I shall ensure the group's survival and terminate all threat, because I am symbiotic. I'm part of the collective. I'm fused with the group along with 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 4 and 4, 8 and 8, 16 and 16, just continuously bigger. It gets stronger. Research found that individuals often escalate violence beyond what leaders of the groups, these groups have leaders too, escalate violence beyond what the leaders request. Why? And that's if the leader requests it, because I just said it. They're not passive robots. They know. But it has been instilled. It's been taught. Think of specific religions that do not directly say, go out and commit this, but it's done in the name of the religion. Yes. Because their personal identity now is invested in outdoing others, even in the group. Yes, outdoing 2 and 2, 4 and 4 outdo 12 and 12. Yeah. Why? The collective, the group. It's a hierarchy too. Not a hierarchy and look at me, I'm the boss, I'm the new guy or girl in charge. It's the hierarchy of fuse, commitment. One is not as loyal as the other. 2 and 2 are not as loyal as 6 and 6. So now we have to work harder, don't we, 2 and 2, to be seen at the identity level of 6 and 6, willing to not be the passive robot, but fuse and commit. Eliminate all threats in the group. Anybody know a group like that? Anybody know anybody that's been a member of a group and that group was so strong that you just couldn't get them out of it? Every time you talked to them, you saw that group. Yep, the coercive and controlness. Yeah, coercion and control, the attachment disruption. It's one of the things, it's kind of hard. The unjoining process, more difficult than joining the group. Coercive control is the pattern of domination, right? Using fear, isolation, emotional manipulation. It strips away the person's autonomy, the independent judgment. Well, the group does not do that. The group that is a real manifestation in the person that is seeking something builds on that. The individual identity of the group to become 1 and 1, then grow to 2 and 2, then grow to 4 and 4, and act as a non-programmed robot for the benefit of the collective, the people of the group, and thus one is now the group. Everyone has a singular mindset, a goal. The intervention, the coercion, the fear, the pattern, the domination, pulling out fear. Think of it. I compared it a minute ago to little Bobby and little Judy not being allowed to date anymore. Oh my gosh. Multiply that times hundreds of thousands. Add a little violence to it. Add a little Molotov cocktail, a little firepower, a little ballistic energy, a little incise cutting, and there you go. The manipulation factor. Coercion and intervention is a manipulation factor, and it's seen that way. It's it's a emotional disruptor. The autonomy of the singular person now is no longer attached to the fused group. Now you stripped away that one single person's fused identity. Yeah. They no longer have independent judgment. Now the group sees that as a weakness. My gosh. The person being interventioned upon realizes that as well. Yep. In research, cult survivors, group survivors, the scholars in the research argue that the totalist groups, when I say totalist group, I mean a group of people or a group that see themselves as the number one. That's it. Nothing else matters. Motion, society, nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. Not even dead children on the highway. Nothing matters but the group. Totalists. They do not start by selling an ideology. No, they start by systematically destroying existing relationships. Why does someone need that fusion into a new group? Oh, here's the easiest way: destroy what they have already. Destroy the person's independence. Destroy the person's attachment to the family, their own blood, their family. Identify the disruptions in the family with deliverance. Make it on with intent, purpose. Destroy those bonds. Turn the family of 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 into 0 and 0. Then recalculate and rebuild in the somewhat comfort zone of the one that you're targeting. The comfort and the validation to leave the blood. Yeah. Think about the military. Think about law enforcement. Think about recruitment. Get out of where you're going. Why do you want to go here? Why do you want to do this? Need a new job, need a new life. This isn't for me anymore. It's not working out. Got to get something new career, new job. Well, the same thing for everyone watching this show and every choice that you've made for self-worth, self-betterment. Yep. Resilience. You're going to tie yourself to something that is better. The psychological state where the caregivers are destroyed. Your perception of the caregiver, mom and dad, the family, caregivers to you, those that are in charge. Not as good as we could do it. Let me tell you why. The cult leader, the group leader, the group members. You think it's one person that acts individually? No, it's a collective. One member of the group isn't the sole entrepreneur of the recruitment. It's the group itself. You think recruiters for the different branches of the military have one guy or one girl in an office at a desk saying, we're going to do it this way, guys. Here's my idea. No, it doesn't work that way. It's collective. Simultaneously, just like terrorism. Yep. The source of safety is destroyed, the family. But we're going to give you a new safety rope. Yep. The trauma bond is so powerful that leaving the group feels like psychological death. That's what research has shown us in the past. All of the major alphabetic groups, all of the major entities of criminology, criminal investigation, criminalistics, forensic profiling, forensic psychology. You do enough digging and enough reading, and I did it with this publication, this white paper, psychological death, making the outside world, including biological family, feel and resemble a real danger. Why? Because it's not the ideology or the mentality of the group. It doesn't have the same social bond or infusion of survival as the group does. Let's face it, society itself in a collective measure of safety and strength is weak as butter. I mean, if you right now have more than 5 that you could really count on that were that infused group to you, be realistic about it. Don't make it up as you go. Well, I'm part of the biggest club in the world, the police. Don't worry, I got a dirty cop show coming up here soon. Yep, got one coming up. Matter of fact, let's see. See if we can get it up here real quick. Just to prove the point. We're going to do that. Right screen. It's going to be a cool episode too. Cool episode. Let's run to this and let everybody see it real quick. Bam. I'm going to shift it over here for all you cool viewers. Look at that. Police predator next door. Badges. Who? Badge wearers become serial offenders. Yes. Even law enforcement fall prey to this crap too at the same time. The group. Which one is better? Did you join law enforcement because you wanted to serve the collective? Well, if the collective wasn't broke, the collective wouldn't need criminal justice or law enforcement. Now, would it? There wouldn't be a reason. Yep. All these trauma bonds create a bond within the group that is so powerful that psychological death is now the number one thing that one has to overcome. Psychological death is more powerful sometimes to some people than physical death because it aids in the inducement of physical death, thus suicide. Things that people miss. The psychological, the disorganization. The follower becomes unable to think clearly because their nervous system is trapped between seeking comfort and expecting an attack, producing chronic anxiety, so to say. Yeah, expecting an attack from those that are intervening. and quite possibly the group too, because now the group sees the fusion and the loyalty and the bond is now is not as strong as 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 6 plus 6, 8 plus 8. Now that one that has been intervened on now has the strength of 0 plus 0. None. Now that person, that individual, is a threat to the group. What do you think the group's going to do? Just come after the person? You think they're going to end that threat, or are they going to intervene and terminate the threat of those that intervened? Yeah, we've seen that happen. Specific cults. Do your own research, please. Or you can read the research I've got downloaded. LinkedIn, Michael Gurley, PhD. The Facebook, Dr. Mike Gurley, CJTV. It's posted there. It's also on X, too. Dr. Mike G, CJTV on X. Download it, read it. It's pretty good. I just want to throw this out and introduce this because a few people wanted me to jot it out there, since some of the researchers are on serial killer kicks now in the country. I guess that's because everybody's starting to panic and thinking there's a couple of serial killers out there. Oh, there's active serial killers every day, but it depends on what the media focuses on in specific region. Well, ladies and gents, go download the paper. Go read the paper. It's a white paper. Wanted to make this short. It's an afternoon show. We prefer the short shows in the afternoon. But remember, groups that have a singular identity toward the strength that's so bonding toward the individual that's fused in. Individuality is still there, but the extremism of ideology, the framework, the contents, the group itself is so strong that one individual psychologically sees themselves as the group solely on their own. Take 100 of those mindsets, put them in one group, it's a powder keg. Just is what it is. We've learned from prior life experience in the law enforcement community that one has to step back and take that psychological examination look. Yeah, psychological examination look into the group. Why these targets? A little bit of victimology on the ones that we're investigating. How were they recruited? Why are they recruited? That would be victimization, victimology. Even for the offender, all offenders have a level of victimology before we ever get to penology. If you don't understand these big words, victimology, victim, penology, after the fact, corrections, institution, follow on after what? Sentencing, right? Just examples. Remember, everyone in a group falls prey. Victimization. But in that victimization, psychologically, there's a tool. There's a twist in linguistics and words. Something that builds. Something that turns the one into being victimized into someone stronger than you.